How's everybody doing? Just want to start out because I know this is going to be a topic throughout the day today and throughout the week. Just obviously a very serious hurricane that is making its way towards the state of Florida and will hit the west coast of Florida at some point later this week, and just it's going to probably impact the whole entire southeast at some point over the next week, and just our thoughts and prayers with those that are going to be impacted from this storm, and just you pray for safety for everyone, and that the damage is minimal, but you never know with these things how that's going to be, and so just understanding that there's pretty serious issue going on in the southeast over the next week. So obviously tough home loss the other night. Very good college football game between two really good teams. Pleased with the way the kids played from an effort standpoint, and just the way they competed. And the game was what I expected, and what you come to expect in a lot of these matchups, and what you come to expect really in this conference. So just a great battle that went back and forth, and certainly we had our opportunities at certain times late in the ball game to win the game, and we're not able to make those plays, and it came down to the double overtime, and a great play by the kicker from Navy. So congratulations to them. Hard fought win. Our guys are obviously disappointed Saturday night, but not a whole lot of time to worry about that, and they've moved on in preparations for South Florida. And in looking at South Florida, an extremely talented roster, all three phases, a lot of experienced guys, offensive side of the football. Bohannon, who was honorable mention All Big 12 last year at Baylor, led Big 12 led Baylor to the Sugar Bowl last year. So a very high-end playmaker at quarterback, dual threat guy. Take him and drop him into the talent that South Florida has on offense, that they had on offense from last year's team. Most of those guys are back, and obviously it's going to be a tremendous challenge for us on Saturday. We do expect the players that missed the Louisville game to be back this week, so I do expect them to be at full steam there on offense. Defensively, you look at them, very talented, big up front. You got the two transfers there from Minnesota and Missouri on the defensive line. I think their linebacking core is really, really good. The secondary, they're long, run well, a lot of older guys there also. You look at special teams, the kick returner was first team All AAC last year. Their kicker is having a great year this year, so just a very solid football team on paper. Obviously they've had a challenging schedule and a couple of tough losses. And you just watch, you watch the Florida game, and a game that I know that they're kicking themselves because, they should have won it at Florida, had the lead late in the game. And I think you can see, just what they're capable of right there. So a tremendous challenge for us on Saturday. Obviously, the game is going to be played at an alternate location, I think that was just announced. So we have already begun preparations for making those adjustments. Practice here this week. I expect our guys to practice well. I would expect us to have a great practice today, and we'll make arrangements to be ready to play the game on Saturday. So, questions?
Coaches, what can you tell us about as far as travel, getting down there? Is that kind of the main concern? And will you guys plan to go Friday, or is that to be determined?
Everything that we're looking at right now is we do plan to go on Friday. Obviously everything that we're doing, the thing that's, front and foremost is the health and safety of our student athletes and our staff. Just making sure everybody, has safe travel. I do think the route that we will be taking should be free of any weather. So I don't think that'll be an issue getting in there on Friday. And it's supposed to be, really pretty weather Saturday afternoon.
Coach, when you look at the Navy tape, what's some of the things with the running game that you saw that you weren't real successful, especially on first down? And were some of those checks from Holton, or was all that from the booth?
Well, the checks, throughout the year and throughout the night the other night, those come at the line of scrimmage, and those come from preparation. Any issues in the run game, you look at it, and it's not just necessarily one thing. I think you're playing against a very good defensive team that had a good plan. I think that we had some execution situations there with our offensive front. I think we had some execution situations there with our backs. And I think just the combination of the two caused us to not be as successful running the football as we should have been.
Just coaching in the Mid-Atlantic area, have you had similar experiences with the Storm game, so to speak, where it's been moved or dates been moved or what have you?
Yep. I mean, we had it at the Citadel, we had it at James Madison. I know that East Carolina's had some significant ones over the years, so it's something that we've had to deal with before. Thankfully I've got really, really good people working for us in operations, and they are very experienced, and they've been planning for this since it first popped up. So, I think 2020, that experience there probably prepared all of us to be able just to, hey, you gotta handle things kind of on the run sometimes, and you gotta make adjustments, and things might not be ideal, but you find a way to make it work.
Just with the way Navy played on defense, can you sort of expect maybe future opponents to do some similar things? And if so, can you learn from a game like this just moving forward?
Well, I think you always learn from the past game. I think that each team is kind of, each team's different, and each team is, has their own wrinkles and things like that. I think that, you're playing a very good defensive team that had, a couple of weeks to prepare and played very, very well. I expected it to be kind of a low-scoring game like that if we had played well defensively, which we did. But again, I also expected to win the ball game. So I think you take what mistakes you made and you try to grow from those. But we've saw from game one, different things trying to attack us or take certain things away from us, and we've got to be able to execute in all areas, and that way, you're never one-dimensional.
Is there any update on Keaton you can provide at this time? Health-wise, I know you said it wasn't serious, but you expect him back this week?
I expect him to practice this afternoon. Yeah.
Coach, the call on targeting the first half was such a big call, such a big run stopper out of the game. I know you guys were sending something to the American, but when you look at the film and everything, can you go through that? Did you think you got the call right, or is it not the intent of the rule, or what do you think?
To me, if that call is not flagged on the field, it would not be initiated from the booth. But with it being flagged on the field, I do think when you slow it down, you start looking at it, I think there are elements there that are part of the targeting rule. So there was no way it was going to be overturned. We teach our kids to tackle in the strike zone. Obviously with quarterbacks, it's a smaller strike zone because you can't go low, you can't go high. And so it really created a tough situation there for Elijah. He was trying to hit the quarterback in the chest. The quarterback kind of ducked at the last second, and it created the contact that caused the flag. So I think he was trying to do the best he could. We got to try to continue to coach it better. He's got to try to continue to execute it better. I hate it for that situation.
Coach, red zone offense has been awesome the first few weeks, but had some issues. I got the one touchdown to Ryan, but had some issues in the red zone. Can you just address kind of what happened there?
Well, obviously we've improved greatly in that area this year, and have had a lot of success there. We got the one touchdown to Ryan. We had several field goals down there. The red zone's always challenging because it's condensed space, and so with condensed space, it makes it a little more stressful. So I hate we couldn't get the last kick. That was, I think, the only red zone opportunity we didn't score on. So it is what it is.
follow-up to Bailey's question about Elijah, you know, the ejection part of that, is that the most frustrating part? When maybe the penalty can stand, but when players are getting ejected for stuff like that, is that the most frustrating part?
Well, I think when you look back, you know, historically, to when the rule was first put into place, I think the intent of the rule was very, very good. If you look at the late, 2000, 2008, 2009, 2010, when you have people just flying in and just leaving their feet and hitting somebody square in the side of the head, and kind of reckless play, I think that's what they wanted to take away from the game. So I think the rule has done that. I don't think that rule fits the spirit of the rule. So it's frustrating.
That was the best your run defense has probably ever done in your time here, any coach's time here against Navy. Is there anything you can take away from that game and move forward, or other offenses just so different that it's hard to compare?
It's just a completely different animal. We obviously worked this summer. In 2020, we defended them well. They made adjustments in last year's game, and it became a little bit of a shootout. So we, gave them a different look this year with a lot of things we were doing, and I think our kids executed it really well. I wish it had been good enough. It wasn't quite good enough, and so I hate we gave up the plays that we did, and didn't allow us to win the ball game. But every year it's going to be, and we had, back to the old days, Lenore Ryan and Carson Newman. I mean, it's a chess match each year with offenses like that, and they're a very good offensive coaching staff. I feel a lot of confidence in our guys defensively, and so it's just going to continue as long as these two staffs are here. It's going to continue to be that kind of chess match each year, and you're trying to figure out the other. And I told Ken, I said, I'll be glad when this game's over and I don't have to see you for another year. So, and I don't know if he feels the same way or not, but I think they do a great job.
It seems like just when we talk to players, they have sent the right message. So what have you seen from the leadership from the player ranks, versus the coaching staff after, some losses like this?
Well, they're sitting here 2 plays from being 4-0. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you have a good football team against a challenging schedule, and we're gonna have chances every week to win ball games, and it's going to continue throughout the year. I'm proud of our kids. I'm proud of our leadership because they've been the ones that have brought us here and kind of given us these opportunities, and they continue to lead with a lot of maturity and determination. Like I said, I expect us to have a great practice today, and that's mainly based on just them and the way they reacted on Sunday, and just the kids that I know that we have. And it's that's the biggest thing standing up here today is just I am very fortunate. I've got a great bunch of kids, and they're not perfect, but they want to do right. They want to compete. They want to win. I promise you, there ain't nobody that wants to win worse than they do. There's no bunch that wants to win worse than our coaching staff does. And so they're all very motivated, and they'll go out and have a great week of practice, and we look forward to playing at a high level on Saturday.
Going on the road for the first time, clearly some different circumstances, but
Right.
do you almost look forward to going on the road? I know you want to play all 12 games at home maybe, but just that mindset of taking your guys away from home?
Well, I think that this group has a lot of experience in road games, and I think especially, like I said, I think the experience of 2020 and what road games were like in 2020 will help us this weekend. I wish we played every game at home. I'm partial to our stadium and our fans, but if you want to do special things and have special seasons, you got to be a good road team. And so certainly we played well on the road last year. Had some big road wins, had some very close road losses, but I do think those experiences help prepare you for what this is going to happen. What this is going to be this weekend with our first road game.
You addressed South Florida a little earlier on, but what are some of the things that you saw maybe last year that you can take? Because that was a tight game as well.
Well, just like I said, the thing that stands out to me from last year was how much improved they were up front on the offensive line. I think they've continued that development. I think they're very solid up front. The playmakers like Horn and Batee and Weaver, those guys have continued to grow and develop. And they've added some more pieces to that. The quarterback is the difference in that, Bohannon's pretty special. And so, you look on the defensive side of the ball, you have a few guys that were there last year, and you have a lot of new guys. So I think you just look at the overall team, I think this is an improved team from a talent standpoint over what we faced last year. And I think they're trying to get everybody on the same page.